I'm just going to take a little moment to introduce everyone. So we have Jasmine, Joyce, Janelle, I'm just playing with it, and Dini. So all of you ladies were invited here today so we can speak a little bit about the idea of beauty and also what beauty constitutes as for you personally. So I guess one of the first questions we can talk about is, what is your definition of beauty?
Okay. My definition of beauty is when you're comfortable with yourself in anything, like whether your hair, what you're wearing, and all that. And of course, the inside always matters because it helps bring out the rest of you. But I just think it's mainly whether you're comfortable and you like what you see and you feel that confident and that you're actually beautiful. Not what other people think, because I'll ruin you.
How about for you, ladies?
You know, people always try to pick out a thing that's like, oh, I don't like this, but I feel like out of everything out of your body, you should just love it all, I guess. And I think everything that makes you up is beauty, like, you know, outside, inside. Sure.
How about you guys?
I feel it's the same way. I feel like beauty is something beyond like what the eye can see, and it's something that's inside. And so if you feel comfortable in your skin, if you feel beautiful, then you are beautiful. Like every person is beautiful no matter what.
True that. No, it definitely, beauty is also subjective too. I mean, everyone has a different perception of beauty. So what I think is beautiful, someone else might not. But that's what's great about, that's what makes people individuals.
Right. Now, something that you just say is that it is very subjective. So people do get those definitions of beauty from different places. So for you guys, if you think back to when you were younger, where do you think those definitions stemmed from?
Well, me growing up, my mom would always tell me, okay, she's from El Salvador, and she would always be like, back when she was growing up, she was really skinny, and the people that were like curvier, like bigger, were considered beautiful. And since she was skinny, they would always be like, oh no, like she wanted to do, let's say, beauty pageants, and they wouldn't let her because they'd be like, no, you're too skinny. And then now that she's here, America's like so different because now skinny is beautiful. And so when I was growing up, she would always be like, even though I grew up, you know, you're here in America, which is skinny is beautiful. So it's kind of like I was kind of like in between, but she always like was like, no matter what, like you're always gonna be beautiful. It doesn't matter. And me personally, like I love, not the idea of like the size 0 just being beautiful, just like curvy and just like anything is beautiful.
Now, something that's really interesting is that you're talking about the skinny factor. That is, I think it is in some ways a problem in America. It's something that we particularly have put on a pedestal as beauty. So for any of you guys, have you ever dealt with that skinny factor, or even having to fight to become like that, to become that image?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have. I mean, I'm tiny, but I mean, not as tiny as teeny, but but you know, sometimes I'll get like criticism, like from my mom sometimes, and be like, oh, you gained some weight, you know, and sometimes it's like struggling, like to me, like, oh, like should I lose some weight, should I not? But honestly,
now, in some ways, does hearing that from your mom,
I feel like
a little bit different? Because I know, like like your story's a little bit opposite, where you're saying your mom was kind of telling you, like, I kind of dealt with maybe not being what was looked upon as beautiful, and now that you're here, whether or not this constitutes, I want you to look how you feel beautiful, but for you, sometimes you do get, criticism, or
more, I guess,
just like
constructive. It doesn't really hurt per se, but I mean, hearing it from my mom is better than, like, you know, hearing it from someone else, you know, obviously. But I feel like, you know, the real beauty, you know, is what Janelle said, when you can be comfortable, when you can hear that from someone else, but you can still say, like, hey, I love the way that I am. So I think that's, you know, that's beauty. So.
Okay. How about Fanny, you two over here?
Well, I was always called skinny when I was little and everything, all the way up till now. Well, not now, because I gained about 20 pounds just from freshman year. So it was my freshman 15. So I've always, when I was younger, I didn't like it. So I'd always tried to purposely try to gain weight.
Say, what didn't you like about it? Was it the term, or like what came with it?
I think it was both. Because they were like, oh, you need to get some meat on your bones and all that. And so, and that wasn't it. wanted to gain more weight just so I could feel better and everything.
So was it
Now
more to
I want
satisfy
lose
yourself or more to satisfy?
Kind of both.
Kind of both.
And now I just really want to lose it because it's not what I wanted in the beginning when you think about it. And now, like she said, her mother says it. Both my parents and my boyfriend have pointed out how much weight I've gained. And so it just makes me feel like a little worse about it. But as long as I know that I feel good about myself, I'm okay with it.
So how many times have you guys found that other people have pointed out weight and made it a bigger factor than you guys felt? Because I think that's a big issue with the idea of beauty, the weight that you are.
I think I've always been like really, really small, and I used to run a lot, so I used to be even smaller. I used to be like stick thin, and my friends would always like carry me and like, I don't know, just make me feel really, really small as if I didn't already. And like I was like a super late bloomer, so I don't know. It made me feel weird for a long time, like being the smallest.
How about for you too? No? Weight? No?
Oh, what?
Just like, was weight ever brought up by anyone else? And has it ever made you change your mind about anything in some ways?
I have 2 older brothers, and so they love going to the gym. So, like, I don't really like going to the gym. And so, like, of course, like, I love to eat and something, but they're just, like, fit. So then they'll always be like, oh, you know, like, you need to get fit. That's what, like, they use or something. But I know that it's, like, they mean it for, like, the best interest. And, I've noticed that, like, because usually, like, you know, girls borrow clothes from, like, different girls. So when I borrow clothes, like, let's say from my cousins who are older than I am, like, they used to be bigger than I am, but now they're smaller than I am. So, like, when I can't fit into their clothes, they're like, oh, you've gained weight. I'd be like, yeah. But, but honestly, like, personally, like, I like that. So I'm fine with it. But at the same time, like, it's kind of like, it puts me in a difficult, when someone else points it out, I'm just like, oh, I didn't know. Like, you know, I don't really notice. You don't really know, like, me personally, like, when I look in the mirror, I don't really notice, like, oh, I've gained weight. I notice when, like, jeans don't fit, but.
I think that's everyone now. Because once clothes kind of start different, either if they fit better, fit loose, or fit not the right way that they're supposed to, like, you start to notice. But something that I like that you said is fit. And I think that's very different from skinny or any other term. So, for you guys, would you prefer to be called fit versus anything else that's out there currently?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I feel like, you know, nowadays a lot of girls or guys, you know, they'll be like, oh, I'm so fat, or like, you know. But from my point of view, I mean, I never really say like, oh, I'm fat. Like, you know, I'm not as toned or fit as I used to be. But that's just something like, if I want to work on it, I'm going to work on it, you know. But other than that, like, I think... Yeah, I forgot the question.
But I'll repeat it for this side. So how about for you guys? Does fit make a difference versus like skinny to you guys? It does. And is it more appealing to say I'm fit than I'm skinny?
Yes.
So what makes it more appealing?
Well, with me being really tall, people, they don't consider how much weight just might be on you.
That's
you
true.
know that. And so it's like, I'd rather be called, like, say that I'm in shape because everything is where it's supposed to be, and I have enough.
Now, when you say where it's supposed to be, what does where it's supposed to be mean? Like,
my stomach is toned out, or my legs are toned. Just toned, basically. I'm not toned, but it'd be nice. And I prefer that than to hear somebody continuously call me skinny, because me being tall, when people used to call me skinny, that's why I wanted to gain more weight, because they were like, oh, you don't weigh that much. So I'd have to prove it and be like, okay, I'm going to make weight go in this spot or this spot. So.
Okay. So something else I want to move towards is, since we have a beautiful table of different cultures today, I want to talk a little bit about what personally you may find beauty is within your cultures. So when you think to your own personal culture and what you were raised in, what is beauty constituted for you within your culture?
So I'm Filipino, and in the Philippines, and I think it's the same thing for like Spanish, and Filipino girls being light or mestiza, like light skin, that's beautiful, you know, for them in that culture. You know, being small and skinny, you know, straight, long black hair, you know, that's beautiful or pretty back in the Philippines. But I feel like here, definitely, it's a whole lot different. Like, everyone here wants to be like tan and getting, highlights in your hair and stuff like that. But, I feel like it's whatever you like.
And when you think about, like, those descriptions, like, do you personally know, like, where they stem from? Or is it just something that culturally has just become acceptable, do you think?
I think just more culturally acceptable, I guess.
Mm-hmm. How about for you, Joyce?
Well, I feel like Hispanics are just all over the place. Like, we have so much, like in any country that you go to, like, you're going to find everything, like in terms of skin color, in terms of everything. I think that in our, like, I know in our music, which is something that I was like, when I listened to like the music, a lot of like artists, in order to say like terms of endearment, they'll use things like morena or negra, which is dark skin, and it's like different, and that those are like sweet terms that they use, which is kind of, like if you look at it, like in Latin America, where there's like, where there's some slaves were brought in, and when there's a lot of mixture of, let's say the natives and, like the Spaniards and stuff. So those are like endearing, and like that's what's beautiful in terms of, but there's always like everywhere you go, like even now if you look at the media, like of like the Hispanic woman, like they're curvy. Like what do we have? We have like J-Lo, who's really curvy then, or like if you go to like Penelope Cruz or the Sofia Vergara, like they're all very curvy, and I feel like it's more acceptable. Like that's what beautiful is in terms of like Hispanic culture.
Okay. How about for you too?
Well, I'm black. I guess what's acceptable, like where you say straight hair, they prefer straighter hair, but my hair is natural. And I guess I'm gonna say thick, like more weight on your lower half than the top half. And they just, I don't know, the difference between what they consider beautiful and what isn't beautiful. They think that light-skinned people are beautiful compared to dark-skinned, like really dark-skinned people. And I don't know where they say it comes from, like when slavery, when, the house slaves and the field slaves. But I just think that it is just an inbred thing from parents as well, who feel their children aren't as good as other children. So.
And Teeny?
Well, I'm Mexican, and my family's a little more indigenous, so like, I don't know, a lot of it stems from like clothing like this, so that's why I wore it. This is called a huipil, and women wear it, like a lot of, like when you're like coming of age and stuff. And it has quetzals, and they're the national bird of Guatemala, and there's tons of them in Mexico. So I don't know, beauty is perceived very differently where I'm from, and a lot of it has to do like with like Aztec dance, like the way you dance and like how your like regalia looks and stuff, and not necessarily like the external part of it, like but what type of effort you put into like your design and like what it means to you. So and definitely the dance, some of the most beautiful women I think like that I've encountered are the women who dance the best, because they just like completely give themselves to the dance, and they dance for hours and hours on end. And so I don't know, beauty is definitely different. Definitely.
And that's very clear with each of your definitions. It's definitely very different. And one of the ththings that most of you touched on was hair, which is definitely like, I feel like for women, for some reason, hair is like a very, very big thing for us. So I know within the Black or African American culture, hair is a very, very big thing, and so is skin, as does it seem with the other cultures as well. So when you guys think about hair, as we see on the table, we all have different types of hair here. Yeah. So when you think about hair, and you think about when you're younger and where you are today, what has formed what you're wearing right now? Riri, I'm gonna go with you first because you have red hair. So.
Okay, I have straight hair, and my like natural hair color is like brown, lightish brownish. And my mom has dark hair, and she has really curly hair, and my dad has like straight, like light hair. And so growing up, like I just thought my hair was so plain. That's why I didn't like it was just straight. Like I wouldn't do anything to it. It was so hard to curl. And my mom was always like, "You're so lucky for having straight hair, because curly hair and like big hair is just so hard to deal with and you have to do so much. And I would always be like, no, I want curly hair. But then I started highlighting it and it started to get, you know, like I have thick hair and I have a lot of hair. So,
so it's a lot of work too. There's a lot of work
takes
behind
like
getting
2
there.
hours.
Yeah.
And so like once I started doing like I started experimenting with my hair and I personally like love to like change my hair color just because I think it's like fun. And like I love curly hair and I love like big curly hair. That's what like, but you learn how to like, I mean, I curl my hair, so then that's what I do now. But just like growing up, like I had that like, I didn't like my straight hair, but everyone else thought it was beautiful. And for some reason, like I was like, no, I want curly hair, like I want big hair. And then slowly, you know, like once I started dyeing it, like hair changes like for me. And so like if I straighten it, stay straight. If I curl it, like it'll be curly for days. So it's just kind of like different types of hair.
So I'm going to go to something a little bit different. Teeny, your hair is a lot different from what we have here. So where's your inspiration for hair come from?
I just kind of like shaved it off one day because I was a little bored, and I started doing designs. It used to be like dyed and stuff, but I don't know, it's too much upkeep, so I stopped that because you have to use like a thin brush to dye it. I don't really know. I'm really into art, so I just figured it would grow back and I'd try a new thing.
Okay. So Jasmine?
Okay, so I had long, dark hair, straight hair. It's like really, really limp, I guess, no volume whatsoever. And when I got to college, you know, I was like, should I cut my hair? And, you know, I went from hair that was all the way down to almost to my butt and cut it into like a bob. And I used to always remember my cousin telling me, you know, never cut your hair because that's what the boys like, you know, it's exotic and stuff like that. But I just want to change, you know, like I guess it makes you kind of feel good too sometimes, you know. But now I'm like, I just want to grow it out, like, you know, and I mean,
so that's more is that for versatility or is that just for like to fit style?
I mean, I guess more for versatility, I guess. You know, I guess around the time when I cut my hair, you know, everyone was doing it, you know, but I kind of just did it, you know, it was summertime, you know, it was hot and just needed a change, you know. I was coming from high school to college and just needed to do something new. But, you know, now just growing it out.
Okay. So now, I know I've seen you a couple different hairstyles, so why this one now?
Okay, this one now, I don't know, I just feel like doing something different with my hair. Because there's not many things I can do since my hair is really, really, really curly. Like I haven't done anything to this up here. It just, I go in the shower and it just curls up. So I just wanted to do something different. And since cutting my hair, I've been wanting to grow it out. And I just started last year after 3 years of having no hair. Because I was just tired of my hair at first because I couldn't really do much with it. Like I could straighten it, but that was it. I couldn't get perms. I couldn't get anything like that because my hair texture. So I just try to find what works while my hair grows back out so I can wear it natural.
So different styles is definitely something that everyone could say they maybe appreciate. And kind of changing it up a little bit. But I think that comes with also like different age and different periods of life. It's not always just to fit whatever beauty is determined to be. And I feel like sometimes that goes as well with skin color. For so many different periods of time, like once, like you said, like light skin is in at some point, and then dark skin, and then this skin, and then that skin. So for all of you guys, you're all different fairs of skin, and you all come from different cultures. So has that ever been a problem for you, skin color? You're smiling. What's
I'm not sure because in high school I had an African American history class and my teacher, she was just showing, you know, how the slaves were distinguished, and so she brought a paper bag in and I fit the bag so I'd be an in-house person, you know. And then a lot of my friends, they consider me light-skinned, even though I feel like I'm pretty brown compared to my sister. My sister's Joyce's color. So it's like, and some other people they think I'm yellow. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what I am. I think I'm brown enough to figure out what I am.
How about for you guys?
Yeah, you know, summertime comes along and I get dark. I got real dark.
So you're not an artificial tanner. You're just
no, I just naturally tan. Like I can sit out there for 5 minutes and get a tan, and I guess it's somewhat been a problem because like my mom, I'll come home from the beach or whatever, my mom will yell at me and tell me that I'm like a different like skin tone, like and stuff. But it's something I can't control. But I feel like that's the only problems that I ever had.
Now, her yelling at you, is that because you're darker or just because your skin might, have taken some damage?
No, because I'm darker. And like I said, back in the Philippines, being light-skinned, being mestiza, that's the word, is, the norm. So socially acceptable. That's,
Okay. So I want to switch gears a little bit, and later after this, I'll be showing a clip about it's more so a documentary about younger girls and how they feel about beauty. And like I asked you guys earlier, just to get a feel of how mothers and female mentors influence what they think is beauty. So I want to take you guys back a couple years to that puberty age where different things and beauty was probably kind of questionable. When you guys think back to that age, what do you guys feel were the stress that you felt about the idea of beauty?
I was just awkward. I was so awkward. I had a really long awkward stage, and I still am like a big lame-o. So I don't know, but I just kind of like started doing my own thing. I just figured nobody else really has a say on what I can wear and what I can do to my body, and I just stopped caring about the media, and that's when it got better, I think. I just stopped being less awkward, I think.
So would you say the media had a big impact? And I guess by media, what exactly do you mean? If you could maybe define that. So would you say whatever that media is for you really defined at some point what your beauty was?
It influenced, there was definitely some sort of influence, and my perception of beauty changed for a while, but I think with my mom and with my culture, it just kind of came back. I kind of came back to my roots.
How about for you? What would you say puberty and beauty, how they merge for you?
It went well. It went well all through high school. Middle school, my hair was mainly in braids and everything, and then in high school, I wanted my hair to be straightened, so I'd get my hair pressed once a month. My grandmother would do it. But other than that, I don't wear makeup at all. I've never worn makeup except for my senior pictures and prom, and I just don't want to because I feel like it's going to alter my definition of what beautiful is, because if I see myself with it, I'm going to say, well, I think I look better with that. And it's like taking my glasses off. Sometimes I think I look good with them, sometimes I don't. So in high school, it was just, when I cut my hair my senior year, some people liked it. They said it brought up my face more, and so they liked that more. And then when my hair was longer, some people liked that more. So I didn't really have a problem because people usually liked whatever I did in some way. So it was good.
Now, makeup kind of seems like a big thing. So in high school, was that big? Or is that why you chose not to do it? Or
that wasn't. No, I just in middle school and elementary, for some reason I didn't have that good of self-confidence and everything, and then I started building it up in high school when guys started noticing me more, the seniors and juniors and everything. When they started noticing me more, and I was getting noticed without having makeup. Everybody wore makeup and everything, the extra shades all around their eyes and everything. And so it was if people like me this way, why do I have to do it that way? So it was more of my self-confidence that I feel like I look good enough that I don't need it.
Okay. Now for you two ladies over here, so how did puberty affect the beauty ideal for you? I know, it's such an awkward time. Everyone's like,
It was, for me, it was awkward because I was kind of chunky. And when my brothers would always make fun of me. And then one time I remember that my dad told me, he was like, "You're getting so squared." And then that really hurt me because then he was like, girls are supposed to have, hips and the idea Coca-Cola, the hourglass kind of shape. And then I vividly remember that, and I was like, oh my God, I went to my mom and I was like, I don't want to be this way, but it was puberty. So
changing. So it's like
your
you don't know
body
what's
is
going on,
changing,
but
and
everything's happening,
yeah.
and suddenly you're like 5 different shapes in 5 different days.
Yeah. So then after that, like as I started, like changing and stuff, I got really skinny, and then everyone's like, "You're so skinny," and then after that, like, but it's so awkward because you lose the weight and then slowly, like, once like you start growing up, your metabolism is changing, and then like now it's just kind of like, oh, so you stopped and now be comfortable with what you are. So yeah.
So I was really funny, and I wanted to get glasses and braces at the same time during my puberty stage, and bad choice it was. I mean, at the time, because then like, school pictures came around, and I think my turning point was my 3rd grade picture when I got my braces on the day of the school picture, and I did not know how to smile, so I just looked terrified. And, that was a really awkward time for me. And me and my friends look back at it now, and I'm just like, wow. But looking at how I become now, braces and the glasses definitely helped, for later on. And I guess I evolved. I turned into a beautiful flower, so, but, so I feel like puberty was a fun time.
Agreed. Puberty, fun, awkward, something kind of time. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to tune right into that part of the documentary so you guys can watch. But I'd like to thank the panel. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk about kind of a beautiful issue and a scary, awkward, weird issue all at the same time. So you just watched an episode of The Minority Report, and we will always see you at the same place and the same time.
Ready, 5 please. Cameras forward. And we're recording now. Slated.